I think we are. Okay, guys, welcome back. We're ready to continue our talks about writing good, strong sentences. And already we've learned about two kinds of sentences. First of all, we learned about the simple sentence. Okay, the simple sentence. Basically, it has a subject and a verb, and it expresses a complete thought. As in, I was late for work. Does it have a verb?
Yes.
What is it?
Late.
I was late for work.
Was.
Good, was. Who was late?
I was.
Ah, there you go. So I have a subject and a verb, and it expresses a complete thought. My car had a flat tire. Does it have a verb?
Yes.
What would that be?
Had.
Had? Good. Who had a flat tire?
Car.
The car did. I guess what? What had a flat tire? The car did. So I have a subject and a verb, and it expresses a complete thought. Those are simple sentences. But we learned on Tuesday that if we just continue to write in simple sentences, our writing becomes very choppy and boring. So we started writing in compound sentences. And I showed you there are three basic ways to form the compound sentence. First of all, we can do what? You know what door number one was?
Conjunction.
Good job. Comma conjunction. That's it. And we talked about those conjunctions being the fanboys. Right? For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So we can join sentences that way, like this. I was late for work, and my car had a flat tire. So I have two complete sentences joined with a comma conjunction. That's door number one. It's a great way to make a compound sentence. That's exactly right. Okay, it took both the comma and the conjunction to be strong enough to join those two sentences. Now the second door was what?
Semicolon.
There you go. You guys liked this one. You liked that semicolon. All right, you got excited every time you answered a question with a semicolon. And this is exactly how it's done. I was late for work, semicolon. My car had a flat tire. Two complete sentences joined with a semicolon. Now remember, you have to test that out. It's very impressive when you use a semicolon, but only if you've got a sentence on both sides. So stop, cover up the semicolon. Do I have a sentence on this side? Yes. Do I have a sentence on that side? Yes. Great place for a semicolon. Right? And then the third door. What do we do in the third door?
Transition.
That's exactly right. We have a semicolon and a transition word.
Yeah. Almost said transmission.
Transmission. Well, we're talking about cars, so it makes sense. I was late for work. Indeed, my car had a flat tire. So I just gave that one little word to kind of make a smooth transition. I put a comma after it because it's more than one syllable. So those were the three ways to make a compound sentence. Now, today, I want to talk about a third type of sentence. Right? It's not a compound sentence. A compound sentence is two complete sentences. All right? Complex sentence is a little different. So I'm going to call it a window. It's not a door. It's a window. All right? Because which of these is harder to get through? Yeah. So sometimes the complex sentences are a little more difficult to navigate. Not impossible. Once you watch this little lecture, probably not even hard. All right? But it is a little harder than these. We're going to call them complex. All right? And the way that a complex sentence is composed is that we take two clauses. We put them together. But one of those clauses is going to be dependent on the other clause. Now you remember that a clause is a group of words that has a subject and a verb. Right? Some of those can stand all by themselves. Those are independent clauses. I could walk up to Jamie, say it on a sidewalk, we can carry on a conversation. But others are dependent. They cannot stand alone. I would look silly to walk up to Jamie and say this to him on a sidewalk. All right? Let's see if I can give you the example here. I was late for work because I had a flat tire. Now here I've got an independent clause. I can walk up to Jamie and say, I was late for work. Subject, verb, expresses a complete thought, we can carry on a conversation. All right? But could I walk up to Jamie and say, because I had a flat tire? No, he's going to be saying, what? What happened because you had a flat tire? Right? This is dependent on something else. Now what made it dependent?
Because.
That's right. Because
Bully word.
we had a bully word slip into it. Now the technical term is subordinating conjunction because it makes this sentence subordinate, okay, under, less than this sentence. So that's why it's called a subordinating conjunction. I call it a bully because it basically beat up that half of the sentence, making it weak. It's weak now. Okay? It's dependent. All right? Now, I kind of think about this when we're trying to talk in your vernacular a little bit here, all right? I think about this like Facebook statuses. All right? When you are footloose and fancy-free, what is your relationship status?
Single.
Single. Okay? So think about that like the simple sentence. Subject, verb expresses complete thought. Single. Okay? Can stand up all on your own, by yourself. Okay? Now, when you meet little sweetie pie, what happens? Your status changes to
Relationship.
in a relationship. Okay? That's compound. Now there are two of you. Okay? So now your relationship is compound or in a relationship. Okay. Now what if a third person enters that relationship?
Then it's hard.
Okay, then it becomes complicated, right? Your status says it's complicated. All right, so it's the same thing. This is complex. It's complicated. It's complicated because a third party has entered the scene. A bully word has entered the scene.
Bueno.
All right, no bueno. Okay, so you can see where that's coming from. It is a bully word intruding in the sentence, making one side of it dependent on the other. All right. Now, what I want to do for just a second is I want to show you this list again. I'm not asking you to memorize them, but you do need to be familiar with these words so that when you see them in sentences, you can say, ah, bully words. After, although, as, because. Anytime you see because, it is a bully word. It is a subordinated conjunction. Before, even though, how, if. Little bitty word, great big bully. Okay? When you see it, it's a bully. It's going to make part of your sentence dependent on the other half. In order that, since, that, so that. Now watch this. So by itself is a conjunction. And it needs a comma if you're going to join two sentences with so. But when you say so that, it becomes a bully word. All right, so keep that in mind. You will see that today. Unless, until, what, whatever, when, whenever, where, wherever, whether I go to Walmart or not depends on if I need milk. All right, as soon as you see whether show up, that's a bully word. Which, whichever, while, who, whoever, and whose. All right, so just kind of keep those in mind. Now, take this exercise. Let's see if you guys can find the bully words in the following sentences. Oh, look at you. You're already on it, Alex. That's it. Until I can find a new car, I have to keep paying for repairs to my old one. So, until. Good. How about the second sentence?
If.
Good. Third sentence.
After.
Good. Fourth sentence.
After.
Good. Fifth sentence. Oh, man.
Never. I don't know.
Do you see it? Who sees it? That's it. When. Okay, watch this. One of the ways I can test it out, if I think I see a bully word but I'm not sure, cover it up and see if you've got a sentence behind it. She and I spend time at the mall on the weekends. Is that a sentence?
Yeah.
Yeah. It would have been a great sentence if the bully hadn't struck. Right? So if you think you've got a bully word, just cover it up and see if there's a sentence behind it, and that will tell you yay or nay.
Because.
You got it. Because. Number 7. Good. 8.
Wow.
While. Good. Number 9.
You.
Good. If. And number 10.
Before.
Before. Good. Okay. Now what you noticed as we went through this, you looked at number 3 and 4, you said, hey, that's the same sentence. That's the same sentence right there. You just switched it around a little bit. After my parents stopped arguing about my bad behavior, I fell into a restless and troubled sleep. I fell into a restless and troubled sleep after my parents stopped arguing about my bad behavior. Same sentence. But what happens to the bully in these sentences?
It's swapped.
Yeah. In this one, the bully's at the beginning, right? In this one, the bully moved to the middle. Right? And it can go either way. Is one sentence any better than the other? No.
It's still the same thing.
It says the same thing. One sentence is just as good as the other. But watch, this is the trick, all right? If the bully comes at the front, I'm going to need a comma somewhere. Okay, if the bully comes at the front, I'm going to need a comma somewhere. See these examples again? I was late for work because I had a flat tire. Because I had a flat tire, I was late for work. Now my bully's at the front, I've got to have a comma. The way I think about it is with Tinker Toys, all right? Here I've got two complete sentences. Two complete sentences. When I take this and if I try to roll it, it's just going to go straight to Alex, all right? Because they're equal. It's a compound sentence. But when a bully strikes, one side becomes weaker than the other. All right? Now what's going to happen if I try to roll this thing?
It's gonna roll in circles.
Yeah, it's going to roll in circles. It's going to favor the weaker side, isn't it? It's going to favor that weaker side. All right? Now think about that with your sentences. Which side of your sentence is stronger? The one with the bully or the one without?
One without.
That's right. Okay? That's my dependent clause. This is my independent clause. This is my dependent clause. All right? So think about it this way. If the strong part of the sentence is in the beginning, can it pull this part through? Can this side pull this side? Yeah. Okay? No comma needed. No comma needed. But if the weaker part is at the beginning, can it pull the heavy part through? No. So that's why I give it a comma. Now, the comma will give it just that little bit of strength it needs to pull the independent clause through. Does that make sense? Right? So if the bully's at the front, you've got to have a comma because the weak part's at the beginning. I got to have something to help it pull the stronger part through. Right? Bully at the front, you've got to have a comma. Now, let's go back and look at these examples again. You tell me, do you need a comma? Until I can afford a new car, I have to keep paying for repairs on my old one. Do you need a comma?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Alex, why?
Because until it's in the beginning.
There it is. Alex says, look, your bully struck at the beginning, you gotta have a comma. Now we have to figure out where that comma goes. It does not go after the bully.
After the car.
It's gonna go after where the sentence would have ended. All right, so what would have been the sentence? Until I can afford a new car. There's the sentence. Okay, I can afford a new car. So the comma is gonna go right there before the independent clause begins. It's showing me where to separate the dependent clause from the independent clause. All right, try number 2. Give me a call if you want me to drive you to school tomorrow. Is that one okay? Yeah, why?
Because it didn't come in the first.
That's right, your bully struck in the middle. So, my strong part's strong enough to pull it through. I don't need a comma. Right, number 3. Would you like a comma?
Yes.
Yes, where would you like it?
After behavior.
That's right, after behavior. Number 4, would you like a comma?
No.
No, because your bully struck in the middle. You don't need a comma. Number 5, Kristen never buys much when she and I spend time at the mall on the weekends. Do you want a comma?
No.
No. My bully struck in the middle. No comma needed. Number 6, because my supervisor insists on punctuality, I come to work every morning.
After punctuality.
There you go. Bully at the beginning. Again, because is at the beginning. How many of you had an English teacher that told you, don't start a sentence with because?
Yeah.
All right? The reason, there's nothing wrong with starting a sentence with because. The reason we told you that is because there's going to have to be a comma.
And not everybody knows where.
And not everybody knows where to put it. You're exactly right. So a lot of times we just say, forget it. Don't start a sentence with because. Then you don't have to worry about the comma. But you guys can handle it. You're fine. You're there. You're ready to work with subordinating conjunctions. Just know that if because comes at the beginning, I gotta have a comma somewhere. My brother won't come to dinner unless I make his favorite banana cake.
You don't need one.
Don't need one. Because unless struck in the middle, didn't it? I don't need one. How about number 8? Would you like a comma?
No.
No, because the bully struck in the middle. No comma needed. How about number 9? Would you like a comma?
Yes.
Yes. If struck in the beginning. Where would you like it?
Saturday.
That's it. You got it. And number 10. Before I started college, I was secretly afraid of meeting new people and finding my way around campus. Would you like a comma?
Yes.
Where would you like it?
College.
There you go. Before I started college. See, because see that? I started college. That could be a sentence. But the bully struck, and it struck at the beginning. I need a comma to back it up. How are you feeling right now? Pretty good? Okay. Let's go through about 10 more of those, and if you convince me you know how to do this, I'll move on to the next part of the lesson, all right? Punctuated complex sentences. Number 1, do you want a comma?
No.
No. Where's your bully?
It is right.
No. Begin. No.
As.
Ah, there you go. As. Little bitty word, great big bully. Okay? As. Did you see I could cover that up? The crowd around her began pushing forward. So that would be a sentence if as wasn't there. That's my bully. It's struck in the middle. No comma needed. Number 2, where's your bully?
So.
Uh-huh. So that. Remember, if it was just so, we'd go comma conjunction. So that is a bully. Do you want a comma?
No.
Good. Number 3, whether Al joins the U.S. Army or goes to flight school, he will need the support of his old friends. Where's your bully?
Whether.
Good. Do you want a comma?
Yes.
Where would you like your comma?
Flight school.
That's it. After school. Number 4, where's your bully?
Because.
Good. Do you want a comma?
No.
No. Bully struck in the middle. No comma needed. Number 5.
Wow.
Good. Do you want a comma?
Yes.
Games.
After games. Good job. Number 6.
Since.
Good. Do you want a comma?
After movie.
Good. After movie. Number 7. Where's your bully?
First. When.
When. Do you want a comma?
No.
Where do you want it?
Closely.
That's it. After closely. Number 8. Do you have a bully?
Yes. If.
If. Would you like a comma?
No.
No. It's struck in the middle. Number 9.
Although.
Good. Do you want a comma?
Yes.
Where would you like it?
Color.
Good. And last one. Number 10. As. Good. Do you want a comma?
Yes. Yeah. After house.
After houses. You guys have got it. That's exactly how it's done. Okay? That's pretty much complex sentences. I have to show you one little trick about complex sentences, okay?
Yeah.
But you're very, very close to having conquered these guys. Relative pronouns. Let's talk about relative pronouns for just a second. What's a pronoun? Tell me what a pronoun is. Give me an example of a pronoun. You guys are, we're working with complex sentences. Don't make us think about pronouns. Okay. If I want to refer to myself, I might refer to myself as
Me. Teacher.
me, I. How would I refer to you?
You.
You. How would we refer to him?
He.
Her,
Hell. She.
she, them, they. Okay, those are your pronouns. They're words that step in for a noun. It keeps me from having to say, I like Aaron. Aaron is a good student. Aaron is always friendly, and Aaron gives lots of good input.
Yeah.
Okay? Instead, I can say, I like Aaron. He's a good student. He's always friendly, and he provides lots of good input. So I can take he and put it in the place of Aaron, so that I don't have to say his name over and over and over again. So a pronoun stands in the place of a noun. Now, a relative pronoun is not necessarily a pronoun, but it's related. I like to think of it as a cousin to the pronouns, because it does the same thing. It's related. It does the same thing in that it's going to stand in for a noun. Your relative pronouns are right here. Right? You probably do want to memorize these. Who, whom, whoever, whomever, which, who's, and that. Okay, you need to get those words in your head. It's not hard if you just think of who, whoever, whom, whomever, which, who's, and that. Okay, those are relative pronouns. Now, let me give you an example of them at work. Dr. Phelps is a physician who accepts new patients. Where's the relative pronoun?
Who.
Okay, that's easy to find. Now see, it keeps me from doing two sentences like this. Dr. Phelps is a physician. Dr. Phelps accepts new patients. See how that would be kind of annoying?
Yeah.
So instead I put the two sentences together. I link them with a who. I link them with a relative pronoun. That's exactly what I do. All right? It steps in the place of me saying Dr. Phelps again. But if I put Dr. Phelps in, I would have had two sentences. So it's working kind of like a bully. It beat that one sentence down and joined it. Right? Now, I can walk up to Alex and say, Dr. Phelps is a physician. We can carry a conversation on about that. But when I walk up to him and say, who accepts new patients? No, I can't say that, right? He's going to think I'm asking a question instead of making a statement. So that makes it a dependent clause. It's dependent on the fact that Dr. Phelps is a physician. Right? Now, because of that, what kind of sentence do you think relative pronouns create? Complex sentences are formed with Boolean words and relative pronouns. Okay? Because the relative pronoun is working the same way as a Boolean, it took what would have been a sentence, kind of beat it down where it's now dependent on something else. So relative pronouns also make complex sentences. That's not hard, is it? A relative pronoun stands in for a noun clause, takes the noun out and inserts itself. It can introduce a dependent clause, making it a complex sentence. Now, let me see if I can show you about 4 examples here. I'm just going to pull that off where you can see all of them at one time. Okay. Shorty delivered the pizza, which was nice and hot.
Which?
Where's your, good, where's your relative pronoun? Which? What is it referring to? The pizza. Okay, so I could pull it apart and do 2 sentences. I could say, Shorty delivered the pizza was nice and hot. But it sounds a little redundant, doesn't it?
So you're like, which?
Yeah, so instead I took out pizza and put in which, the relative pronoun. It took the place of that noun, and it linked it into what kind of sentence? A complex sentence. That's exactly right. Look at the second one. Sonia was the only person who bought flowers. Where's my relative pronoun? Who? So that works. I can put that right in. Sonia was the only person Sonia brought flowers. Instead, I'm just linking it together. Sonia was the only person who brought flowers. That's the main thing I want you to know. Okay? Making it what kind of sentence?
Complex.
Good. We went to New Orleans, which is a beautiful city. Where's your relative pronoun?
Which?
What's it referring to?
New Orleans.
Yeah, absolutely. So it could be 2 sentences. I can pull it apart, but instead I link it together and make it a complex sentence. She fixed macaroni and cheese, which is my favorite dish. Which?
Macaroni.
Okay.
Good question. Maybe you can explain later, but I was noticing. Why who doesn't have a comma before?
Why is that? I was hoping you would notice that.
See, which, all of them.
All of those have commas, but the one doesn't. Why? Okay, let me see if I can explain it to you, all right? This comma is what we're going to call the comma as an inserter. It's inserting information that is not essential. All right, so let's look at the first example. Shorty delivered the pizza, which was nice and hot. What's the main thing I want you to know?
She delivered the pizza.
Yeah, I want you to know that Shorty brought the pizza, okay? The fact that it was nice and hot is
Was not needed.
extra information. All right, look at number 3. We went to New Orleans, which is a beautiful city. What's the main thing I want you to know?
Went to New Orleans.
We went to New Orleans. The fact that it's a beautiful city, that's just extra information. I'm inserting extra information.
That's why.
Okay? Hey, and Alex, this is kind of neat, but if I put that in the middle of a sentence, and I had more over here, I'd put commas around it so that I could pick it up, move it out, or move it in. Remember how we did the word however?
Yeah.
Okay? Listen to this one. The game, unfortunately, was canceled. What's the main thing I want you to know?
The game was canceled.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I would put commas around it. They would work kind of like handles, and I could pick that word up, take it out, or put it back in.
It's like a transition word.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. It's just giving some extra information. Okay? Very good. Now, she fixed macaroni and cheese, which is my favorite dish. What's the main thing I want you to know?
She fixed macaroni and cheese.
Yeah. Okay, the fact that it's my favorite dish, that's extra information. So I put a comma right before my relative pronoun. Okay, now let's go back to number 2, because we don't have a comma there, right?
Yeah.
She was the only person who brought flowers. What's the main thing I want you to know?
She was the only person who brought flowers.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
information.
Okay, all of that information is necessary.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to tell you she was the only person. There may have been a lot of people,
But she was the only one. that
but
brought
she was the only one that brought flowers. So I can't put a comma in front of it because it's needed information.
That sounds weird. She was the only person who brought flowers.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, does it? Because you'd be the only person that did what? That brought flowers. And that's the full meaning. All right, does that make sense to you? Ross has got it. He's on top of this. Good. Okay? That's exactly how relative pronouns work.
Yeah, we done
We're very close. We're very close. You guys have just almost survived a very difficult lesson. But here's one more trick I need to show you, or one more type of sentence. I said there were only 3. Well,
3.5.
Yeah, okay, we'll go 3.5, okay? And this one's easy because it's a combination of the second and the third. The compound complex sentence. And a lot of times you're like, can't write in those. Sure you can. If you can write a compound sentence and you can write a complex sentence, you can very easily write a compound complex sentence. Okay? Let's go ahead and put that on the board. Compound complex. Because all you do to write this sentence is you bring this and you bring this. You add them together. Right? So a compound complex sentence means I've either got a comma conjunction or a semicolon, and I've got a bully word somewhere. Just means I've got both of those inside my sentence. Let me see if I can show you an example here. Because my car had a flat tire, I was late for work, and my class dismissed itself. What makes it compound?
And.
There you go. See your comma and?
Yeah.
That makes it compound. What makes it complex?
Bully word because.
Because that's compound complex.
And
That's
it's
all there
3
is to it.
sentences.
Huh?
And it's 3 sentences.
Yeah, it would have. It's almost 3 sentences. All right. This is a sentence. This is a sentence. And this is almost a
Well, if you
sentence.
take the cause out.
If you took because off, you'd have 3 sentences.
My car had a flat tire. I was like, in my class.
Yeah, and you know what I would do if I wrote it that way, Aaron? If I took because off, capitalized my mind, I'd say, my car had a flat tire, comma, I was late for work, comma, and my class dismissed itself. Because that's like a list.
Yeah.
That's a list of 3 things that happened today.
And
Okay? That's all there is to compound complex sentences. Now, last exercise before I turn you loose on the computer, all right? We are. Okay, number 1. Whenever I have the chance, I like to take a long walk alone. All right? Oh, Aaron says, I see whenever, which makes it what kind of sentence?
Complex.
That's right. That's a complex sentence. You'll notice that I have a comma because the bully started at the beginning. Number 2. We want to name the baby Margaret, since that is my mother's name, but Lauren is a pretty name too.
Compound complex.
That's it, Alex. Compound complex. What part made it compound?
But.
There you go. Comma but. Right? That's door number 1. What part made it complex?
Sense.
Sense. There's the bully word. You got it. Number 3. Fluffy keeps getting out of the yard, getting picked up by the animal warden.
compound.
And we're. No.
This may be further.
Compound.
Okay?
Compound?
Now what's it going to have to make it compound?
Oh, no. That's a simple.
Well, it's a compound, right?
That's a simple.
You're right. It's simple. To make it compound, I'd have to have a comma conjunction. All right? And see, I can't put a comma here because look, getting picked up by the animal warden. Is that a sentence?
No.
No. So I can't put a comma there.
So
All right.
simple sentence.
So it's a plain old simple sentence. You're exactly right. Didn't have a bully word, doesn't have a semicolon or a comma conjunction. Good job. Number 4. My advisor is Professor Harper, who is very nice.
Complex.
Good. What makes it complex? Yeah, which is?
Pronoun.
You got it. That's a relative pronoun. You guys would be like, it's a
It's a cousin.
Yeah, it's a pronoun cousin. Yeah, a relative pronoun. That's exactly what it is. And what's the main thing I want you to know?
My advisor is Professor Palmer.
Yeah, main thing I want you to know is that he's my professor or she's my advisor. The fact that he or she is nice, that's just extra
That's
information. Yeah. Okay. And, oh yeah, 3 more. Here we go. Today, the cost of living is high and families lead hectic lives. What kind of sentence?
Compound.
Good. What made it compound?
Okay.
That's it. You see 2 sentences joined with a comma conjunction. And number 6, we are both majoring in biology, and since we room together, we often study together.
Compound complex.
Yeah, compound complex. What made it compound?
And
Good. What made it complex?
often. Makes sense.
You got it. Compound complex. Last one.
Often.
First, Ralph donned his firefighting gear, which protected him from the heat and flames. And then he strapped on his breathing
That's
apparatus.
compound complex.
What makes it compound?
Command.
There you go. What makes it complex? There it is. Which is called a what?
Relative pronoun. It's a cousin.
Look at you guys. Look at you guys. That's exactly how it's done.
I think it was because it's got more than one comma in it. That's how I get it.
Yeah, and sometimes you can, now sometimes it can just be,
Yeah, just,
Jamie, remember the example we had there today, it's more like a compound.
yeah.
You have like 2 compound sentences going on, all right, in there. But as soon as you see the bully word, you know it's switched over to a complex. Okay. All right, good work. Go ahead and stop the video, and you guys are ready for the